Students, counselors, thank you so much for joining us for this Carolina ACRAO Virtual College Exploration Program. A few housekeeping items before we begin with today's session. First and foremost, your camera and your microphone are turned off so the panelists cannot see or hear you. So if you have any questions, you should type them in simply through the Q&A button on your screen. You'll notice the Q&A button is there. When you submit a question, it gets sent to all of our counselors that are presenting today, and they'll work to answer the question during the session and at the conclusion of the session. We encourage you to sign up for additional transfer programs at the same website that you went to register for today's program. And we are recording this session and all of the sessions, and the recordings will be available very soon on the CACRAO website. And with that, I'm going to hand it over to our panelists.
Perfect. Thank you, Zach. So as we get started, just want to kind of briefly run through our introductions, and then we'll jump right into the questions that we encourage all of our transfer students, regardless of where you're applying, what we think you should ask in the admissions process. So my name is Caitlin. I am one of the transfer admissions counselors at UNC Charlotte. And with that, I will turn it over to my co-presenters here to introduce themselves.
Hi guys, we'll go across the top list here. My name is Cassidy Bailey and I'm a transfer admission coordinator from UNC Wilmington.
Hi everyone, my name is Tiana Thompson. I'm an admissions counselor at Erskine College.
And hi, I'm Craig Giroux. I am the Winthrop University Transfer Admissions Counselor. Winthrop's in Rock Hill, South Carolina.
Hey guys, my name is Lucas Moore. I serve as the Associate Director of Admissions here at Anderson University, working with our transfer population.
Perfect. Sounds good. Thanks, everyone. All right, so we will jump right into our first question. As Zach said, when you're as we're going through information, feel free to drop any questions you have in the Q&A feature. Throughout the presentation, we're going to kind of feature our schools as well. So if you have a specific question geared toward a specific school, so if it's UNCW, Winthrop, whoever it is, if you can make sure that you're addressing that question to like Winthrop and say, I have a question about your admissions requirements or whatever it is, definitely feel free to add that in there just so we know who you're talking to. But without further ado, Cassie, I'll let you take it over.
Awesome. Thanks, Caitlin. So our first question we're going to go over is when and how should you connect with your admissions office for the intended institution you're looking at. The good thing is we want you guys to connect with us. As counselors, we find it really helpful for students, to talk with us about the process, to ask those questions that they have, at the forefront of their mind. And usually when I'm talking to students, I find that there's questions maybe they didn't even think about, but just through the conversation, they're able to get those questions answered. So just on the list we have here, some really cool ways to connect with us would be through virtual visit opportunities. I know several of us have posted a lot of virtual opportunities just with the transition to virtual visits and being able to see our campus, maybe not physically, but still wanting to see it in person. So be sure and check out our websites for that information. Also just reaching out to us as admission counselors. We're here to help you all. That is our job, and we love to share as much information as we can with you guys to walk you through the process and make it as easy as possible. And then some of us, we do have regional admissions representatives. So if you're at, for example, North Carolina Community College, I know with UNCW specifically, we have regional reps at specific community colleges in North Carolina. And those are people that are there to physically assist with questions that you may have. And also moving on to that next point about pre-transfer advising. We do have counselors that can kind of walk you through maybe what classes you're taking at the community college, how they're going to transfer over, what's the best transition and fit for you as you come to a 4-year, and maybe some class recommendations as well. So please reach out to us. That is pretty much the first step in this process, is just finding out information and really coming to us as your point of contact. That's what we are here for. And Caitlin, if you want to go to the next slide, I'm going to talk real quick about UNCW. So like I said, I'm from UNC Wilmington. I actually was a transfer student at UNCW. And just speaking from personal experience, I thoroughly enjoyed my time there, and just want to talk to you a little bit about the stats that are on this slide, and touching on our average class size, which is only about 27 people. And that's something that I really enjoyed. I came from a really, really small school. So coming to a larger institution for me. I wanted to be sure I still had that contact with my professor. Being able to make those connections was really helpful. And just a student to faculty ratio is only 18-1 there. So you don't feel overwhelmed. You don't feel like you're a fish in a very large, ocean. You're more of in the pond, and you can really find your niche when you're there, which is awesome. And just UNC Wilmington specifically, we are located in Wilmington, North Carolina. We're 5 miles from Wrightsville Beach, and then 5 miles in the other direction is downtown Wilmington. So it's a really great community to be a part of, and just a really great culture if you're looking for a great beach town, but also attending a school with great academics. Our most popular degrees that we award there, two that are really popular, are marine biology, obviously with the location to the beach, that would make sense. And then film studies is another popular choice because there were a lot of things filmed in Wilmington, a lot of things being filmed in Wilmington. So if those interest you, those are really great programs that we offer. We have a lot more options, but those are just some of our popular ones. And we have a 49% transfer welcome rate. So we have a lot of transfer students on our campus, which we are really, really proud of. And I will let our next person take over.
All right, welcome everyone. So again, my name is Lucas Moore here with Anderson University. Just wanted to kind of talk about with you guys, even what might seem like an obvious question is asking that college or university that you were interested in transferring to, if they even have your major or program. And so, sometimes we'll work with students and kind of get pretty far in the process before they may realize, you guys don't have the exact program I was thinking or whatever the case may be. So just kind of one, I guess, word of advice is always check in with whatever university that is that you're looking to transfer to. Every website should have a list of programs, majors, concentrations, all of those things for you to be able to research and find. And so just always want to make sure that whatever you are transferring into, whichever school that they do offer the program of interest that you have. And kind of another aspect to that is, as you're beginning to think on your career field and what that will be and what that will look like, it always is helpful just to research even, majors that folks within that profession have studied in their undergrad or even graduate level programs. And so that can just really help in just determining the program you might need to go into for your specific career field. And then from there, making sure that the school or university that you have interest in does offer that program. And so just take a look at those things. A lot of these universities, you can do a minor as well. So you can kind of build some elective hours to do a minor along with your major if there's room to do so. So again, just wanted to offer that as well. Just again, making sure that the program you have interest in is offered. And so Caitlin, if you want to go to the next slide, we can do a quick overview on Anderson University. So there's my contact information. If you guys need to reach out to me, be sure to do so for any follow-up questions you may have. So here at Anderson, we have roughly 2,600 undergraduate students. Our faculty to student ratio is 17-1 with an average class size of 25. So you can see there on the left with that graphic, we do have 95 majors and concentrations. So kind of going back to the previous slide, we do have a lot of different programs here at AU that you can go into and study. We are one of 9 private universities that offers an interior design program. And so that's a very strong program for us here at AU. We're the second largest private university in South Carolina as well. So along with majors and concentrations, we do have certificate programs, we have minors, we do have a minor in app development and coding that is really open for any major. So there is room to complete a minor in app development coding if you have an interest in doing so in the world of technology. So some of our strongest majors at AU would be our nursing program, School of Nursing. We do have a cadaver lab here on campus as well, which is really helpful just that you get that experience in your undergraduate degree as opposed to waiting until your graduate degree, whatever that may be. So that is available for undergrad students within our kinesiology programs and nursing programs. So Center for Cybersecurity, this is new at Anderson. So we do have our Center for Cybersecurity offering several different concentrations within that program as well. So we're located in the upstate of South Carolina, and we are in the city of Anderson as well. And Anderson County is one of the largest counties in South Carolina also. So again, around 2,500 undergraduate students. And We do have a lot of great visit opportunities that are in person as well at this point that you guys can sign up for through our website.
Perfect. Thank you, Lucas. So another great question that we want you to consider as you plan to transfer, whether it's right now, in the future, is just kind of what are your admissions requirements? This looks different at every single institution. So as you're researching, do you have my major? What visit opportunities do you have? We also encourage you to research the admissions requirements. So some institutions and some programs may want you to earn the associate's degree. So they require an associate's degree. Others of them, like, some of them just have a minimum credit hours that you have to have, no associate's degree required. So just consider all the different admissions criteria in terms of a GPA range, how many credit hours. It never hurts to reach out to our institutions and ask those things. We are, of course, the best experts at navigating our own websites. And so I know that a lot of websites can be very wordy and sometimes overwhelming to students looking at them and not realizing competitive majors and what those requirements are in addition to the requirements to just our regular admissions requirements. So reaching out to our office, we are the experts and we're willing to help you in terms of, kind of just navigating all the requirements for whichever major you're interested in. And that kind of brings us to our next point on the slide of just like separate application processes for various different majors. So, thinking of like a nursing program, and if there's an upper division that you're having to apply directly to if you're ready, things like maybe an art or an architecture program where you're having to submit that additional portfolio or that separate application. So it never hurts when you're, speaking with that admissions counselor just to ask, is there just the one application? And, as you're reviewing my application, will you review me for both general admission and admission to that major? Will you only review me for just admission to the major that I list on the application? All of those things are great questions to ask in the admissions process. Another thing, as you're filling out the application, some of the institutions may offer fee waivers for transfer students. So some of us, for various different things, some of us normally accept fee waivers. Others of us maybe accept fee waivers because of an extenuating circumstance that happened during COVID-19. Others may offer fee waivers if you attend a specific event. So maybe we're having a transfer application day at your institution, and maybe that day only is when we're waiving application fees. So it never hurts when you're, again, connecting with our admissions offices. These are great questions to ask when applying to institutions. And then lastly, submitting optional documentation. So most of us are going to require high school transcripts and college transcripts in our application process, but just taking into consideration that there, of course, are optional things that you can also submit in terms of essays, letters of recommendation. And so those are all considered supporting documents. And I would say if you wanted to submit those items, they do kind of get considered in the review process before making that final decision. So it's completely up to you, but definitely reaching out to those institutions, asking, if I submit them, will they be reviewed? And, also considering that, will they help? Like, will they help? Will they hurt? Anything like that, asking those questions in the application review process. So with that, I will kind of move forward with kind of talking a little bit about UNC Charlotte. UNC Charlotte is located just outside the actual uptown center city of Charlotte. We are approximately 9 miles from the city of Charlotte. We are one of 17 public institutions within the UNC system. We are North Carolina's largest transfer institution. So within the UNC system, we are the second largest, 30,000 students strong in terms of total student population. And so thinking about how we're the largest transfer institution, about 50% of our total student population at UNC Charlotte are transfer students. So a lot of transfer students, even if you're standing in line at the bookstore, standing in line at Starbucks on campus, there's a good chance the person standing in front of you or behind you is also a transfer student. We have 171 majors at UNC Charlotte, so lots to choose from. And then kind of keeping in mind, I know it's important for our transfer students, especially if you're coming from like a community college, classroom size and what you can expect with 30,000 students at the university. We're pretty proud that our classroom space and student to faculty ratio are relatively small, considering the size of the population on our campus, considering that we're technically a large institution. Our average classroom size being 35, student to faculty ratio that 19 to 1. Not only is our campus very new and modern, so we are the fastest growing institution in the UNC system, but we're also very diverse. So 40% of our student population are coming from a racially diverse background. That doesn't even include our additional 2,000 international students, so very diverse. All of our 2021 applications, so spring, summer, fall for transfer students are open right now. So we encourage you to start that application process sooner rather than later. The sooner you apply, the sooner we can get you a decision. If you have any questions about the transfer application, feel free to give us a call Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. We're also here for you virtually. Like Cassidy said, we all have virtual kind of visit opportunities with Zoom rooms. So reaching out to our office, connecting with us, we're happy to help in your transfer process. So with that, I will turn it over to Craig to kind of talk about how your credits transfer. Craig, can you unmute yourself, Craig?
This is one of the most important things for transfer students because certainly they would love to have all their credits count. Things that we need to consider when you are transferring to a school. If you took dual enrollment credit at a university, we're not going to get that information off your high school transcript. You have to have it sent from your college transcript. AB, IB, CLEP, again, it's like you've gone to a different institution. So with the AP credit, I just talked to a student today that said you had to contact College Board and have that sent to us. One of the things that we like to have students think about is timeline to degree completion. Many times we'll get students that will come and they want to know, am I listed as a freshman, a sophomore, a junior? And we'd like students to concentrate on how long it's going to take them to get their bachelor's. Different degrees have different hour requirements at different institutions, and that's really the amount of hours that you're going to pay for. So that's really one of the most important things. Resources to understand how my credits transfer. We have a lot of different on websites, have a lot of different ways to get that information to you. I've heard counselors say that within 48 hours, 72 hours, you would get a credit evaluation. Some schools are going to have a transfer credit portal that's going to be part of their website. Those are all important things in you gathering information so that you have all the knowledge that you need when you're picking an institution. A little bit about Winthrop by the numbers. We're deemed a middle-sized institution, just under 5,000 undergraduate students. About 1,000 graduate students. We have 1,200 transfer students. And again, we have quite a few students that are transfer students. We don't make them wear a t-shirt with a big T on it, so you won't even know it. We got folks from all over the world and throughout the United States. I actually just admitted a student from Alaska, so maybe 35 will become 36, we hope, that they attend. Certainly Winthrop is rated as one of the top institution by US News and World Report and been viewed that way for the last 20 years. And when you think about that, that's probably as long as some of you have been alive. So it's for a while. Okay, do I have one more slide or? Just want to talk briefly about our Winthrop scholarships. We do have transfer scholarships. Winthrop's located in Rock Hill, South Carolina, which is the 5th largest city in South Carolina, but really has a small town feel. And we're just 30 minutes south of Charlotte. So we're right on the line. So many times we'll get students that are 35 minutes away and they're an out-of-state student. If they receive a transfer scholarship of any kind, we're going to waive their out-of-state tuition. That's a big deal for our students that live in Charlotte, but it also works well for our students that live in Alaska if they're a good student. Just want to mention briefly also that we have talent scholarships, music, art, theater, film, those types of things usually require a portfolio or audition, but there's additional money and that also would get an out-of-state waiver. That's all I really have to say about that. Thank you.
Okay, let's talk a little bit about financial aid and scholarships for transfer students, just kind of what's available at various institutions. Always, obviously, a great question to ask the school that you were interested in, see what they offer for transfer students, if they offer transfer scholarships, if there are different work study positions that are funded through the university as opposed to federal work studies. But let's begin just kind of talking about and reviewing some different state scholarships. So those of you that may be South Carolina residents and South Carolina students, obviously you're probably familiar with some of the state scholarships that South Carolina offers. And so for Life Scholarship, you can use that and transfer that over to your other university. The state does require that students maintain 30 credit hours a year and a 3.0 GPA. So be sure you are doing those two things. That also goes for Palmetto Fellows. So if you're a Palmetto Fellows student and you're at a four-year school currently, you can transfer that to another four-year school within the state of South Carolina. Those same requirements are the 3.0 GPA and 30 credit hours. And you guys do get your fall semester, spring semester, and summer semester to maintain that hour requirement and the GPA requirement. Okay, so a lot of folks don't remember that you do have that summer semester if you need it to get extra hours or to get a GPA boost if needed to. You're probably all familiar with FAFSA, probably even currently using FAFSA at your current institution. FAFSA does open every October 1st. So that is open now for the fall 21, spring 22 school years. If that is the time you're looking to transfer, you can go ahead and start that process on working through your FAFSA for fall 21. I know here at Anderson, our financial services office is going to begin processing those in the coming weeks in early November. We'll start processing fall 21 FAFSAs. Now, those of you that might be looking to transfer mid-year for spring 21, that you're probably already using that FAFSA, the federal aid you qualify for there, you can go ahead and send that to the college or university that you're looking to transfer to. And obviously through FAFSA, you can qualify for the Pell Grant, you can qualify for direct loans, Parent Plus loans if your parent or legal guardian wants to pursue that option. There are also federal work studies where you're working for that university and earning additional financial aid for doing so. And again, going back to see if the university that you have interest in has school-sponsored work studies that are funded through the university itself. So those can be options for you as well. And then lastly, institutional aid. So again, just going back to what does the college or university that you are transferring to, what do they offer incoming transfer students? Do they offer a transfer scholarship? Are those renewable each year? If so, what are the requirements to keep those year in and year out? So just important questions to ask. Not only are transfer scholarships offered, but do they carry over, each year that you would be a full-time student there? Here at Anderson, we do have some merit-based scholarships for transfer students, amongst some other opportunities as well. And again, going back to work study positions too. So just always great questions to ask as you are funding, a new college experience, and sometimes can even be more expensive if you're going from a 2-year to a 4-year. So important things to take note of and ask about during your transfer process.
Hello again, everybody. So I'm going to give you some information about Erskine College. Erskine College is a private Christian liberal arts college located in Due West, South Carolina. We are close to the Greenwood, Greenville, Anderson area. We're kind of in the middle of everything, but we are a small school. Again, we only have 800 students in all. So with the 800 students that we have, the student faculty ratio is about 11-to-1, possibly having 12 students in each class. For a transfer student, we do have the requirements of a 2.0 and 24 credit hours. Our top majors are biology, psychology, education, business. We do have scholarship opportunities as well for transfer students. We have a specific scholarship for PTK students. If you are a PTK student, you will get that scholarship as well. The link is there to apply, and we do offer in-person visits as well as virtual visits. So if you are interested in coming and learning more about Erskine, you can do that as well. We do have a lot of interesting new sports, including football, cheerleading, band, acrobatics and tumbling, bass fishing, rodeo, beach volleyball, just to name a few. But again, we are a small school. We do feed on the community aspect and the community vibe. We want to make sure that you know that you are important here and that you're not just a number, because you aren't a number. Everybody here knows everybody. We can go on to the next slide. So after you've done everything and you're like, okay, well, what's next? What should I do? And what are some transfer resources? So once you're accepted and you've gone through the whole process and everything, you've received your financial aid award letter because you completed the FAFSA, it'll be time for you to make your final college decision. And so the next steps for that is to enroll and deposit. So you let the school know that you're planning to attend, you pay your deposit to secure your spot on campus. And then when you let the school know that you're attending, also let the other schools that you might have applied to and been accepted to, let them know that you're not coming, just so they'll know as well. And then once you do that, you'll send your final transcript. So you'll send your college transcript to them. If you are an in-state student, you know, they might ask for you to send your high school transcript as well, just so you can get state aid. But you'll send that transcript so the school will know which classes will transfer over, which classes that they can already add on their schedule that you don't have to take over again. And then once you do that, you attend orientation. Some schools will have in-person orientation. Some schools will have virtual orientation. Some schools may not require you to go through the original, like the freshman orientation, because you're a transfer student. You might have to do a separate orientation, and that's fine as well, just as long as you know that you might have to fill out a few forms, or you might have to attend a session or something as a part of your orientation. And then after that, you know, what resources are available for you? There are student services and different resources that you can have. Schools have different things. So some schools might have an office of adult learning that can help you and help you transition as a transfer student. Some might just have a student development office that will also help you. They'll help you figure out your classes, housing information. They'll help if you're a military student as well. They're just there to provide all the information for you, and they're a specific office to help you. And then you also have your admission counselors as well. Like, we're going to be with you through every step. We're going to make sure that you are sent to the proper office, to the proper people. We're going to make sure that your questions are answered, and we're, like I said, going to follow you through the whole process.
Perfect. Thank you, Tiana. So as we wrap up, and we have about honestly, like 14 minutes for questions. So as I'm kind of wrapping it up here, if you have questions for us, either about our specific institutions or about the types of questions we, encourage you to ask today to your interested institutions, definitely feel free to drop them in that Q&A feature. We're all kind of keeping an eye on that. But again, I hope out of today's session, you got an idea of when we all met, we all kind of gathered some just kind of brainstorming ideas of what we thought were important questions that students should be asking, even as simple as the one that Lucas covered at the very beginning of, like, do you even offer my major? That one was, even to me, kind of a surprise. Like, do we really need to encourage students to ask that? And it was kind of across the board unanimous, like, yes, not enough students ask that question. So even as starting as basic as that, there is no such thing as a dumb question. We are always here to answer any questions that you have. We listed our contact information for all of our institutions on the right-hand side of the screen. Reach out to us no matter where you are in the transfer process. Every question is a great question, no matter where you are in the process. We're happy to help. So,
Caitlin, there was a question about schools that have accounting majors.
Okay.
Maybe a raise of a hand that has an accounting major so we can see. We also at Winthrop have, if for minorities, we have a special accounting major that Price Waterhouse sponsors, and they guarantee internships and employment. So that's a unique situation. So, if you meet those requirements, that would be awesome.
Okay. How long will the recording be available? So the session is being recorded, and I know it does get posted on the CACRAO website. I'm hoping the CACRAO representative, when we get ready to end, will kind of tell you more about the time frame it gets posted on the website and go from there. But it will get posted on the CACRAO website for you to view at a later date. And then, do we need to apply through the coalition account or through Common App application? So this is a great question, and it's very institution specific. Since we have some time, we can certainly kind of run through each institution in terms of where you can apply, but it is institution specific. So that question of how do I apply, or like where do I apply, is another great question to ask your institutions. Cassidy, you want to kind of start us off with like where to apply for UNCW?
Yes, for UNCW, we are using CFNC.
Lucas, do you guys have an account for Anderson?
Yeah, absolutely. So for Anderson, we are not on Common App. So you will just simply go through our website, andersonuniversity.edu. There at the top right on the main page, it says apply now, and you'll fill out the transfer application. It takes, doesn't take too long, about 20 minutes or so to fill out, but we are not on Common App.
Okay. Tiana, you want to, or Craig?
We actually are both on Common App and institutionally. For us, until November 1st, on our institutional application, the application fee is waived.
And like Lucas said, Erskine College has their college-specific application. So you can go on our website and find the application to transfer in. We do have rolling admissions, so that means that we don't have any hard set deadlines. So you can apply anytime throughout the year if you choose to do so.
Okay. One student asked, oh wait, sorry, for UNC Charlotte, let me answer that question first. For UNC Charlotte, we encourage our transfer students to apply either on our Future 49er portal or through CFNC, the College Foundation of North Carolina. So we have both of those options. And then there is a question for all of us while I try to answer these UNC Charlotte questions that are coming in. What are your college's individual process for visiting, touring them? Are there in-person visits? So Cassie, we'll start back up at you as kind of what your UNC Wilmington is offering.
Yep, so for UNCW, we are offering in-person visits on weekdays. We have 6 different times to choose from. Obviously, it's very limited capacity, and there are 1-hour guided tours. We also offer a self-guided option if you're wanting to go out and just kind of walk around on your own. Just be sure to follow the CDC guidelines. We are also starting to offer Saturday tours. I think there's 3 different times that are going to be available. If you're interested in visiting in person, you do have to register for that tour, and you will register through C-Level. So that's what we're offering. And we do have virtual options as well. But if you're curious about coming in person, that would be our options.
Yeah, so similar to that, we are having in-person campus visits here at Anderson University as well. You just simply sign up for those through our website, similar to the main page where it says apply now. Just to the right of that, you'll see a link that says visit campus. And so you'll select that. We have visits in the morning and afternoon, Monday through Friday. So just pick the best day and time that works best for you. And then we are having Saturday visits as well in October and November. So we do have a Saturday visit even this Saturday, and then November 7th and November 21st. Those will be Saturday morning visits. Our visit structure is typically you get an overview of the university campus tour, meet with one of our current students to learn about whatever program or major that you signed up for with your visit that you were interested in. So you can hear from one of our current students, and then we'll cover lastly, financial aid, scholarships, and the application process as well.
At Winthrop, we also have both virtual and in-person visits, probably very similar to a lot of the other folks. We got limited numbers due to COVID. We also have 2 times a month Saturday visits that certainly we invite students to sign up for, which would include a 1-hour tour and a brief orientation.
And at Erskine, like everyone said, we have in-person and virtual visits as well. You can go on our website, click visit, fill out the form, let us know how many guests you will be having come with you. We are limiting the amount of guests, and we are only doing one family at a time. But we do have that every day. We're in the office from 8 to 5:30, so we'll have that option available for you, and we do have the virtual options as well.
Okay, sorry, visiting and touring. Yes. Okay. So UNC Charlotte, for visiting and touring, we are currently having limited in-person tours on Mondays and Fridays. Right now, honestly, the Monday and Friday tours are really geared more towards our freshman kind of admissions process. If you wanted to kind of still sign up and then get the in-person campus tour, but just kind of tune out of the freshman info process, you could still come for an in-person campus tour. We also have self-guided tour maps as well to come see our beautiful campus. And then I would say in terms of virtual, we do have several on every Tuesday and Thursday. We have virtual information sessions along with a virtual campus tour. And then we also this Thursday have our UNC Charlotte Day event for our transfer students starting at 4 p.m. You can find more information about that on our website under our visit opportunities, specifically for transfer students. And then our Explore Open House event is this Saturday as well. So lots of opportunities, especially this week, but every other week as well, to connect with our admissions counseling staff as a transfer student. So. All right, everyone. Haley has a question. When is the best time to contact a transfer admissions counselor? And I think kind of across the board for all of us, that it's never too early. Like, I mean, for all of us, you can connect with us at any point. So we encourage as soon as possible. I know I was talking to Cassidy about this before, UNC Charlotte, we encourage you to create a Future 49er portal as soon as possible. That's how we will start connecting with you, letting you know we're going to be at your school, or letting you know that we're in the area, or we're having this event, or hey, here's some more information about your major. Like, it is never too early for you to connect with our offices. If you're letting us know that you're planning to transfer, we can, in collaboration with your community college advisor, help you, select courseworks and kind of, or classes, and get coursework recommendations that will not only transfer to our institutions, but meaningful towards your, major at our institutions, to continue to help you have that seamless transfer. So that's a great question. Any other questions? We have about 5 minutes left for any other questions that come in, but these are great so far. Thank you all for your participation. All right. So I don't see we're kind of getting any further questions. So again, we appreciate all of you for attending today, tuning in. The recording will be available on the website, and we will all just kind of hang out for a few more minutes in case any other questions come in.
Caitlin, I'd like to add something since we got a little dead air that I failed to say before. One of the things, and you heard Anderson say they're a private institution. Sometimes students, it's very evident whether a school is private or public. Winthrop is not. There's a lot of USC, Columbia, USC, Sumter, USC, and we're Winthrop. Because we've been there for 130 something years, we are a public university. So I would say always verify with that school, are you public or private? Because there's some different things with financial aid with each of those kinds of institutions that you need to make sure that you make that aware or find out that information. There's not a dumb question. And we all have had students come up and say, I have a dumb question. The other thing that I would encourage you students, don't apologize for bothering us. It's our job, right? And the other counselors get that. I'm sorry to bother you. I'm glad you're bothering us because that's what we're getting paid. All these big debt, well, not big debt, we're getting paid for, right? Is to help each of the students. So that's what we're here for. So don't apologize.
Okay, any schools, maybe we do a show of hands again. Any schools have any architecture programs? No? All right, then just UNC Charlotte. Okay. All right. Craig, I appreciate that last little tidbit. That's super helpful, I think, in considering like if you're looking at like private versus public and the types of questions you would consider, you know, depending on where you're looking. So that's super helpful. All right, so without any kind of last minute questions, we'll still kind of keep an eye on that Q&A feature. Again, encouraging you all, if you haven't already taken a screenshot of the Connect with Us slide, so you have all of our email addresses, phone numbers, reaching out to any of us to ask any additional questions that you may have not felt comfortable answering or asking today. Like Craig said, no dumb questions. So reach out, let us know. We're here to help every step of the way. If you're a community college advisor, even or tuning in today, reaching out to us, connecting with us, feeling free to share our contact information with your students. And we always appreciate you kind of forwarding our information along to your students who are interested in our institution. So we appreciate all the work that you guys do to kind of connect your students with us. And with that, we have about a minute left for any last minute questions before the session ends.
I did also just want to highlight, for those of you still remaining participants, there will be a 4-question survey at the end here whenever you exit. Please make sure to fill that out and let us know what we can do better. You can sign up for more of these sessions and talk to these counselors as well as others if you go to www.cacrao.org, and that's CACRAO. The recording of this will also be available. I know there's a question about this. That recording will be available within a week. So it could take a few days or so for it to all get updated and everything, but it should be available by next week. Hope that answers everyone's questions.